Hey everybody, it's Bruno. If you want to be our next guest on MB, click on the Be My Next Guest link below. Hope you enjoy this episode, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
That's right. What's up, you sucker? What you looking at?
Red flags on condos. Reserve funds?
Yeah, I mean the huge red flag is the condo board. I'll try and even before I show a condo, it shows, so on our listings it shows the condo management company, and the condo management companies, they're highly reviewed in this town, and a huge red flag is if they're managed by a company with a very poor reputation, and then even you can do some asking around the building, how is the condo management company? How is your reserve fund? Even before we go through the whole process of putting an offer in, because it's not free. Also, you have to order the status certificate, which is usually a couple $100, which is not a throwaway. So I try and save my clients the time and money before we even get to that step by just doing some basic homework by asking some questions here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go back to the reserve. Condo board or a property management company being good or reputable. If the reserve, so this is more of an education thing for first-time buyers, hopefully you'll share this video with some of your possible clients, is that I've known a lot of people who got in trouble with this. Not trouble, but just, it's just uncomfortable. So walk us through what a reserve fund is.
So the reserve fund is an accumulation of everybody's fees that is used for the common elements in the building. So windows, roof, parking lot resurfacing, painting of the building, painting of the hallways, maintenance of the HVAC system, and that it's. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, what a reserve. Yeah, Matthew's right, and so. After the lifespan of whatever is in the building, so hypothetically 20 years from now, and sometimes a reserve is certainly not enough to do the windows and the common areas. So there's that special assessment fee, right, Bruno? But you want to have a reserve fund that is healthy enough to certainly pay a portion of that, so that the special assessment fees aren't astronomical, where we've had a situation where the older buildings built in the 70s are coming to a point where they need new windows. I'll give you an example. You're probably familiar with it, the one that Queen Elizabeth Towers on Laurier. They had to replace all the windows. So their reserve funds was nowhere close to meeting what the cost of the windows was. So each owner had a special assessment of approximately $25,000 that they had to pay up front in order to replace the windows. So
that being said, in Ontario or in Canada, I'm not sure, is there a limit? Is there a threshold for a reserve fund? Is it 30-40%? Is it a hard line?
No, it's not hard. It's not a hard line. What they do is a reserve fund study. A good property management company will do a reserve fund study.
Yeah.
So what's needed on what's needed, even coming 5, 10, 15 years down the road. This is what we're going to need in our reserve fund. This is what you're going to need in your reserve fund. So we have to start building up to these amounts. So we don't have a special assessment of $25,000. Right. You should not. A special assessment of $25,000. That's extreme. That should not have happened.
But the reason why I asked that question is this. So I'm a young couple. I'm part of a young couple, right? I'm not big enough to be two people.
Yeah.
But I'm part of a young couple, and I'm looking at this condo, and it's 20 years old. They got a reserve fund, and of that reserve, they have a reserve study. They have a reserve fund of, say it's $2 million, whatever the reserve study, and they have $200,000 in the reserve fund. Okay, what are the things that they need to look at as buyers that potentially? You said the special assessment's number one. Yeah. Number two,
and their lawyer will, and that's something that we don't get involved as much in, Bruno, because
right. But what are some of the things that, off the top of your head, you might be thinking?
Down the road.
Be aware of this, because not just your down payment, it's not your principal, not your interest.
That's right.
It's not your HOA fees or condo fees.
Well, it is the condo fees, because I'll tell you what happens is that if the reserve fund is not up to par where it should be, then the only way to resolve it is to increase the condo fees.
Mhm.
So you could go in there and with a condo fee of whatever it may be, but it could be 20-30% more because they've had to increase that condo fee. So Bruno,
How does that affect your mortgage?
well, it affects it because of your ability to qualify, because your condo fee then is impacted
Right.
in your total.
So your monthly.
Your reserve fund is not funded, like it's really, really low. It's funded a little bit, but like say 5-10%.
Right.
For whatever reason, it's been depleted. And it's difficult to sell it.
Oh, no question.
What are the impacts on that?
It affects the resellability,
Greatly,
right?
basically.
From which point of view? Is trying to get a mortgage?
Well, not only trying to actually get someone to buy it.
Get a buyer.
Because if it gets a reputation and stigmatized that, you know what, that
This building is very poorly
It's
managed.
very poorly managed. It's going in there, and I'll tell you what they're doing today also in the condominium and new construction is that they're artificially, in my opinion, lowering the condo fees to market them and sell the units, but then after a couple of years, then the condo fees are
Once it becomes
usually
right.
doubled up. So that's something that gives that buyer a false sense of, you know, my condo fees are only $300 a month, but in reality, that $300 a month is
There's no reserve fund.
It's
Well, there's no
artificial.
reserve fund. That's usually before the reserve study, and that's also before the condo board become incorporated. The condo board has
That's
to become
right.
incorporated in Ontario.
That's right.
It becomes their own little entity.
Yeah.
And then after they do the reserve fund study, and then that's when the new buildings increase the condo fees because, okay, well, the study came back and we need our condo fees at this level, or we need our reserve fund at this level.
In order to do that,
We need to raise our fees to this level. So your condo fees are no longer $250 a month.
Right.
You bought the
They're now
condo.
400.
They're
So
400.
with all these complications, maybe they got it straight in Italy where we come from, right?
Yeah.
They just stay at Nona's house.
that's right. Basically, you just take your mom's.
Nona's house, there's no condo
Yeah,
fees,
there's no
there's no
condo fees.
reassessments. Attracting new talent to your firm.
Yeah, that's an obstacle for, you know, just as the advantages of being with a smaller firm, to me, the obstacle there is that it's difficult to attract new agents.
What do you look for?
I'll tell you, I look for somebody that again is personable, that and it's how you I get a good feeling, Bruno, when I meet somebody for the first time, and
Why are we still friends then?
I'll know exactly whether we're going to be okay with our relationship. But yeah, it's an obstacle. I've hired a couple of new agents in the last year or so, but it's an obstacle for a small firm. You're competing again with the large corporate, and they can offer certainly much more than we can in terms of education and their budgets. But you know, we're making a go of it.
Mhm. Matthew, what do you see this firm becoming?
I see it becoming perhaps a little bit larger than it is right now, but I definitely don't want to get to the size of a franchising level of a Royal LePage or a Remax. I mean, I'd like to keep it very not in-house, but a much a family business. Bringing in other investors and bringing in other brokers. It just invites more.
Well, I think it becomes a babysitting service.
It
also.
becomes- right.
You know, I mean, and it's never been my goal to have 30, 40, 50 agents. I think that again, you're either very large or very small in this business.
Mm-hmm.
I think the middle brokerage is difficult to make money.
Well, here's a comment that you're probably throwing out to all the brokers want to be. They throw out this 80-20 rule about 20% of your top producers are 80% of your business. I'm not going to answer the question. I'll tell you my opinion afterwards. But
Yeah.
What do you think about that? You talked about babysitting service. That's basically what you're alluding to.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Somebody hangs their license here and doesn't do any business, right, Bruno? I mean, that's so. There's a lot of that in real estate, and I think it's gotten certainly better in I don't know about Alberta and Calgary, but in Ontario, they've made the courses certainly.
They're more rigorous.
Yeah,
it's
there's no
not.
question. Yeah, I mean, it used to be a situation where virtually in 24 hours you can get your real estate license, but that's no longer the case.
It's very much like about a 1.5 to 2 year process.
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean that you're going to be a good I mean, you
Oh,
have
no,
to have,
for
you
sure
have to have
doesn't,
salesmanship.
but I think it's certainly,
You have to, what element do you have to be, you have to go out there and sell your business.
And you have to be a
for sure.
person.
Not just knowing your business,
Yeah,
right? So the
but I think
the
it's weeded
license-
out a lot of the
Yeah.
part-timers in a
Oh, I
sense,
see.
where, you know, where, I'll take the real estate course in
And I'll
2
just do
weeks
a
and
part-time,
I'll be,
you know.
that's no longer the case. The fees are certainly have increased over the years. So I think it's weeded out a lot of those agents, but there's still the agents that hang their license in brokerages and you know, they'll do the 1, 2, 3 deals a year with their family, but you'll never get rid of that. But in a sense, I think the business has become certainly a lot more professional, and in a good way, where people in it are in it full time and doing it is certainly.
See, I think that 80-20 rule sometimes in small business, that might apply to big corporations. I don't even know if that number's right. But I believe in the smaller space, you know, I think it's like 95-5. I mean, gee whiz, you know, like you talk about babysitting service. I think it's lack of awareness and and I think that's what falls onto us as entrepreneurs. Like,
Yeah.
you're the owner, you clearly have to tell them, look, are you busy any Sunday this year?
Yeah.
You know, I have a birthday. You can't be a realtor. You know, maybe that's extreme, but it's.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's
the reality. That's the reality. Isn't it?
I remember. I can't remember. I think it was Phil Esposito,
Yes.
the hockey player.
Yeah, yeah.
Good old Italian hockey player. I think
Sault
it was
Ste. Marie.
him from Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, got some ties there. That said you have a higher probability. I'm sorry, Phil, if you're even watching. I'm getting you wrong, but I believe it was him saying that you have a higher probability that your marriage succeeds if you marry somebody that was in a hockey family,
Huh.
because they know that, you know, you're not going to be home at Christmas. The big games on Super Bowls, you know, Sunday.
That's so true.
And, you know, Thanksgiving, forget about it. Easter, well, we have a doubleheader. That kind of goes hand in hand with real estate. And I know that we're going full circle, but I think that's setting
There's
the
a lot of
expectations
truth
when you're
to
hiring
that.
somebody.
There's a lot of truth to that, and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of husband and wife teams in real estate, so they certainly they know the schedule, and that's it. I mean, if you don't have a compatible partner that is sensitive to that, it's going to be difficult.
So, going back to this, because it's not just about real estate transactions, this is more about sharing some entrepreneurial spirit and some maybe family guidance through entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Did you feel that obviously you had support at home,
Yes.
which is immeasurable, really?
It really is. I mean, you know, if your partner again is not on board, and the old saying is true. I mean, happy partner, happy life. And that's true. I mean,
It's also a fluctuating income too. Like there are up months, there are down months, and then
and years. I mean, that's
years,
just the way that, and you have to accept that. I mean, you have to certainly look out for that rainy day. I mean, where when things are rolling, things are rolling. But then, you know what? When you're going to have those time periods where your income is not going to be certainly the way it was.
You know, the one thing I remember you doing real estate, because I do declare I've known you for a long time, and I always treated Frank as my older, much older brother. Sometimes. No,
Yeah.
but I treat a lot of my friends that way. But truthfully, do you feel that your family missed out because of your irregular schedule?
I'll tell you, Bruno, I don't think they did, and I was
You got a
maybe.
witness right here.
Yeah.
No, honestly, he was great. He always made time.
Yeah, I found it the critical time in the children's lives where it's that critical time period, right, where they need you for sports, because my boys played sports.
I
And,
mean, between the ages of 1 and 99.
yeah, exactly that time period.
After that, it's okay.
Do whatever the hell you want. That's right. So.
Beats you up, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I made time. So I sacrificed some income in real estate, but to me it was important during that time period in my life to make sure that that I was there with the kids playing hockey, baseball, and all that kind of stuff that they did soccer. Mario played soccer. So yeah, I don't think they. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think they missed out, but. There might have been the odd game where I couldn't attend, but I'll tell you, I was there for 90% of it.
You know, what I find is this is more of a performance thing. As a realtor, as a search person, as a lawyer, if you're truly producing,
Yeah.
like you're truly selling houses in this
Yeah,
case,
yeah.
and you're truly going to, open houses and selling homes and coordinating that and trying to balance that family and having the support saying, gee whiz, you know what, I'll be there every time I can.
Yeah,
I think it actually leaves you less wiggle room to do stupid things.
without question. I mean, I think your day's full, and you're right. You're focused and you're concentrated, and there's no question that you have a mission, and you have to accomplish it in many avenues, right? For sure.
Well, you know what? That's pretty much all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you for tuning in with us. And you know what? Make sure you subscribe to our Megapix Media channel so you will never miss an episode. And also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. We have content almost every day. So thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you guys soon.